Unleash Prosperity Today. How to Activate Prosperity in 5 Simple Steps. By Anthony Kollar. Introduction. Prosperity is amazing in every way. It is available to anyone, anywhere and at any time. Once you discover the secrets of prosperity, you will wonder why you did not enter in long ago. These secrets are open to anyone that inquires, takes the time to understand, and puts into place in their life. The good news is the moment you put one of these secrets of prosperity in place in your life, you immediately activate prosperity. But it gets better. Put another secret in place and you begin to compound prosperity. Keep putting these secrets in place and the trickle of prosperity becomes a river that flows into your life. Hear the cool part. Your financial situation has absolutely no influence over your prosperity. Hear what I mean. You can be in debt beyond your ability to catch up, even behind on payments. You may have lost your job and all your income. Maybe you have suffered loss of income because of an emergency. Maybe you are just making ends meet. Perhaps you are doing well financially. Now, the cool part. None of the above has any power over your ability to open the floodgates of prosperity. That's right. You can be in the midst of a financial hurricane with no relief in sight and still activate prosperity. The moment you enter into prosperity, everything changes. And I do mean everything. I will give you 5 simple steps to enter into prosperity, and create a life that many people only read about. I share these 5 things from experience, and not from theory. I know what it is like to suffer financial blows that take the wind out of your sails. I know what it is like to have days where you don't even feel like rolling out of bed and opening the shades. I also know what it is like to experience unbelievable and even miraculous events that change the course of your life. As you go through this book, let this book go through you. Put these 5 simple steps to prosperity into place in your life and begin to experience prosperity before the sun goes down today. Oh, I almost forgot. Like anything, you may have days where you don't put these 5 prosperity secrets into place, or maybe even weeks, or months. Don't be hard on yourself or feel like it too late. Simply put them in place in your life and prosperity will begin to flow again. I want this book to be short, concise, and to the point, so that you can get started today. My other books go into greater detail about various aspects of prosperity and how you can put prosperity on steroids. Step 1. Prosperity begins on the inside. Prosperity does not begin in your bank account, with a raise or bonus. It does not begin with a surplus of money. Prosperity begins in you. That is why anyone, in any financial situation, anywhere in the world can enter into prosperity. You do not have to have money to create money. Think about it for a moment. How many inventors had the money they needed to begin with? Not many. But they did have an idea, internal not external. It starts on the inside, not on the external circumstances in your life. I know this may be difficult to wrap your thinking around. It was for me, but once you do, it will literally transform your life. Once the transformation takes place in your thinking, you will see things differently. Everything becomes new again. Relationships, work, finances do mean everything. Think about the transformation of the butterfly. It begins life as a worm, crawling and eating worm food. Then it spins the cocoon, and begins to change. Hear my take on it. The worm in the cocoon becomes so full of butterfly the cocoon can no longer contain it. Once the cocoon is broken, an incredibly beautiful butterfly emerges. That butterfly for the first time no longer thinks like a worm, it simply flies. Its first meal is butterfly food, not worm food. It really is a beautiful picture of the person that is enveloped by a scarcity mindset that suddenly is transformed into a prosperous-minded person. Life is completely new, everything is brand new. It is impossible for a butterfly to live like a worm, and it is impossible for a prosperous-minded person to live in scarcity. I remember the day I discovered this simple secret. It was and is a butterfly experience, one that you no doubt can experience yourself. Here is how you can begin your butterfly experience today. You will see it is a simple strategy that you can put into place immediately. There are 3 things I have discovered on my prosperity journey that will transform your mindset or the way you think. They are high-impact ingredients for a true and speedy transformation or butterfly experience. 1. The first high-impact ingredient for transformation is happiness. People with a scarcity mind believe that everything must be going your way in order to be happy. Prosperous-minded people believe that when you are happy you create good all around you. Scarcity is more on the defense, while prosperity is offense. One expects to receive, while the other expects to give. Being happy is contagious. When you are happy, you create happiness in others. I have seen this firsthand. Test it out for yourself. Here is what I did. I decided I would smile and laugh throughout my day. Something amazing happened. Several people asked me what had happened to me, and was I okay? But there was something else that began to happen. People around me started to laugh and smile. Everyone was happy too. The second high-impact ingredient for transformation is gratitude. Gratitude is something you give. It is a gift of the heart. You can only give what is yours, or what is in your heart. I suppose everyone likes to hear the words thank you. I feel appreciative when someone extends a thanks, done you. Gratitude begins in our heart, and leaks out of our attitude. Being grateful is a high-impact, high-return state of being. The more you give, the more gratitude fills every part of your life. This is living life from the inside out. After all, people can easily read whether you are real or just a good copy. Someone has says, whatever you are full of will spill out. It's only a matter of time. Take time each day to be full of gratitude, and it will spill out in the course of your day. A funny thing will happen when you are filled full of gratitude. The little things that used to bother you will no longer have any influence over you. Gratitude will raise your attitude, and everyone will not only take note, but they will be affected by it. I just spoke with someone that really got this high-impact ingredient, and she had a butterfly experience. She said she went around the house all day saying thank you, thank you, thank you. She had an exhilarating butterfly experience, never to be the same again. Fill your day with thank you, and life will be different. 3. The third high-impact ingredient for transformation is peace. A part of the scarcity mindset is worry, fretting, anxiousness. Tea is indeed an awful thing to experience. Yes, I have been there, and I never want to go back there. It makes for a hard life. A prosperous mindset is free from all that. There is an uncanny, unexplainable peace that prevails. Yes, even when circumstances are terrible. Have you ever experienced such a peace in the midst of one of life's hiccups? Peace allows you to keep your eyes on your goal or dream, rather than getting discouraged or sidetracked. Meditation helps create that peace. At least for me it does. Give it a try and it may have a profound effect on you as well. It is where I connect with God and have the butterfly experience. When you intentionally put happiness, gratitude, and peace in place in your life, it will transform 3 areas of your life. These are really checkpoints for the journey. If these 3 things are out of kilter, you will know immediately. 1. Your thoughts will be utterly transformed. Imagine the butterfly the moment it leaps from the cocoon. Everything is new and different. That is exactly what will begin to happen in your thoughts. Suddenly you will have thoughts that produce prosperity rather than the old thoughts that support scarcity. You will take the leap of faith and fly for the first time, and everything will be new, a brand new world. Your thoughts will create prosperity. Life will be different. You won't worry about the car breaking down, or paying the rent, or getting behind. Or will you have a job next week? You will have an uncanny peace with thoughts that open your life to prosperity. 2. Your imagination will be utterly transformed. Imagination is perhaps one of the most valuable assets we possess. What happens in your imagination will directly impact your life. This is where people create the programs they live out, consciously and subconsciously. This is where the file cabinet of life is stored. Change the files and you change your life. Do you do things without thinking sometimes? Like wash your hands? Hat is because you have a subconscious file that runs on autopilot. How would you like to put prosperity on autopilot? Imagination is the place to do just that. Your imagination is where all your internal movies or scenarios are. Have you ever known anyone that was a negative doomsday type person? You know the type. Always expecting the worst. Imagine experiencing always expecting the best on autopilot. That had a very profound effect on my life. I remember the first time I experienced this. I had been working on a prosperity mindset and something happened that was going to break the bank for us. My autopilot response to my wife was, "It all going to be alright." I had such a peace that even she could not believe. She asked me if I was okay. I simply laughed and said yes. When a butterfly leaps from the nest, it expects to fly, and it does. It has no worries about falling or turning back into a worm. Start expecting prosperity to meet your needs, whether it comes in the form of an idea, a raise at work, an unexpected check. Don't worry about the vehicle that prosperity uses. Simply expect it, Just as a butterfly expects to fly, practice changing the pictures and scenarios or movies you see in your mind and you will be utterly amazed. 3. Your speech will be utterly transformed. Scarcity-minded people have a certain vocabulary that reveals their mindset. Take a look at these words and phrases and see what you think. What if? Yes. But, I need, I want, I don't know, I don't have /VT pitch. All that thinking goes away when you have a prosperous mindset. Your words tell the truth about your mindset. Remember, whatever you are full of will leak out. It really does. Your speech gives you away. A butterfly no longer behaves like a worm, and the prosperous-minded person does not speak like a scarcity-minded person. When you have your butterfly experience and are transformed inside, your vocabulary will change on autopilot. Your conversations will become prosperous. Your friends and family will definitely notice. The cool part is you will attract new, like-minded friends that have embraced a prosperous life. A scarcity-minded person sees problems and worries, while the prosperous-minded person sees the problem and begins to discover the solution. A scarcity-minded person is overcome when circumstances are negative. A prosperous-minded person overcomes. One becomes a victim, while the other is the victor. One is on the defense, the other is on the offense. Two completely different responses because they have two completely different minds on the matter. You may need to read this over and over until you have that aha experience and really get it. And I mean really get it. Believe me, it is time well spent. Okay, let's move on to the next step. Step 2. Prosperity is all about receiving and being transformed. There are people that have great ideas, incredible goals and dreams, but nothing ever happens beyond the idea. They always have a reason why they can /VT pitch. Have you ever carried on a conversation with someone that just was not listening? They hear your words but they are not receiving the message. When you begin your prosperity journey and have step 1 in place, your mind begins to be filled with thoughts, ideas, dreams, and goals that attract prosperity. So you want to receive the message. You will know when you are in the receiving mode. How? 1. Prosperous thoughts will inspire you. You will have such a motivation bubbling up inside you that you can hardly sit still. An inspiration that is far different than being psyched up or thrilled. In the past you may have experienced being inspired about something, only to see it fizzle out and disappear from your thoughts eventually. Some people call that broken dreams. The good news is that a prosperous mind will awaken dreams you thought were long gone, and it will be a game changer for you, because this time you will see your dreams become reality. It will be like a quickening or an awakening. Suddenly you will think about things you once dreamed of but have long given up on or forgotten. When this happens, it will be brand new again, and you will be full of inspiration. Only this time you will have an amazing confidence that this is really going to happen. I remember the first time this happened to me. I was beside myself. It seemed like every part of my body, soul and spirit was in celebration mode. Kind of like when you are so thirsty your throat is parched and dry and it's 100 degrees outside. Then you get that ice cold drink and take your first drink. Your taste buds dance and you are fully hydrated and alive. Prosperity will change the course of your life and cause you to live within your destiny. People around you will wonder what has happened to you. They will say you are a different person. As your life takes on a newness, they will be amazed at your calm and confidence. Some will say you are lucky, but you will know the truth. It's simple. You have discovered and put in place the secrets of prosperity, and they are having a profound effect on your life. True inspiration will affect you in every area of your life and in every way. It will transform your desires, meaning you will be on the edge of your seat knowing that the thoughts you receive will come to pass, and nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, will stop it. But there is something else that occurs. 2. Prosperous thoughts move you to action. This is far different from being anxious or in a hurry. You will be so full of butterfly you will leap into flight with that uncanny peace I mentioned earlier. There will be a calm that moves you forward. Yes, even when there are setbacks that would stop the normal person. The obstacles that make scarcity-minded people quit are simply stepping stones for you. You will see things that used to discourage you quite differently, and they will no longer have any negative influence over you. The cool part, all this happens without a laborious effort. In fact, it will be quite enjoyable. How does it become an exciting and even fun journey? Because now you believe, just like the butterfly. Your mind is completely changed. Brand new, totally different, and prosperous. You will just know. You will be full of faith because you no longer have a scarcity mindset. it is gone. The butterfly does not think like a worm, and the prosperous-minded person does not think like a scarcity-minded person. It's just not possible. There is no effort, or trying, or doubt. A prosperous mind does prosperous things. You will be full of confidence, trust, and faith without trying. It just happens without effort. It happens because it is a result of putting step 1 in place in your life. 3. Prosperous thoughts will change your entire world. When the butterfly emerges from that old cocoon, it looks like a brand new world. It sees things that were hidden before. Like every day it discovers something that it did not know existed. But the truth is, it was always there. It was simply beyond its ability. It was hidden, but it was in plain sight. The reality is that the world is exactly the same. The butterfly just has a different perspective. It rises above everything and sees things differently than when it crawled beneath it all. A prosperous mind sees things that was once hidden and beyond its ability. It flies above and has a brand new perspective on life and everything in it. Prosperity happens on the inside first. When that transformation happens, it causes you to view things with your prosperity glasses on. In other words, your circumstances are the same. Nothing changed. People are the same. Your finances are the same. Yet you see things completely different than before. I remember being crushed by debt. Bills piled high, facing foreclosure, and no way out. I experienced the transformation, a prosperity mindset. It happened on my walk to the mailbox. I picked up the pile of bills, and as I grabbed them my thinking was completely changed. I felt like I had a spring in my step and I was so happy. In fact, I started laughing. For the first time I was so excited to get those bills. I came in the house and my excitement caught my wife off guard. She asked if I was okay. I laughed and said yes, I am better than okay. Prosperous thoughts began to fill my mind. I grabbed an old wooden box and told my wife to get all the bills she could find. She thought I had lost it. We stuffed all our bills in that old box and it barely closed. Then I did something that changed everything. I wrote something on top of the box and my wife started laughing. I wrote blessings on that old box. We became thankful for all those blessings. Rather than looking at them with discouragement, something unusual began to happen. We received a check from our insurance company. They said we had overpaid and gave us a huge check. That became a crazy phenomenon we experienced time and again. Money would come from unexpected places and we would pay our bills off. Within a few months we were debt-free. A prosperous mind will change your entire world. Your circumstances have not changed, but rather you have changed. You fly higher and have a completely different perspective. Like we did. No more bills but blessings. Prosperous ideas and thoughts will flood your mind. As you receive them, prosperity will be unleashed. You will become a prosperity magnet without struggling or intense effort. So prosperity will inspire you, move you to action, and change your entire world. Remember, all this is happening inside you. You are being changed. Now the fun part comes. And that is changing the world you live in. I know you are really going to like this. Step 3. Prosperity moves you to action effortlessly. I think after reading this step you might think about things quite differently than you do right now. Perhaps an illustration before we really uncover another secret of prosperity. I am sure you have heard that when you plant a seed it struggles and struggles until it finally breaks through the soil and becomes a plant. I do not agree with that. In fact, I think it is exactly opposite of that. Hear what I mean. I think that little plant pops out of the shell of the seed and bursts through the soil because it is so full of life that the shell and soil cannot contain it any longer. In other words, the little seed inside that shell does not work up a sweat and try to break through. The life inside of that seed is so powerful that it effortlessly pushes that little plant through every obstacle until it sees daylight. It is the same with the butterfly. I have always heard that the butterfly needs to struggle inside the cocoon to strengthen the butterfly so it can fly. I used to believe that just because that's what everybody says. Here is how I think about it now. Just like the plant, the worm gets so filled with butterfly that it bursts out of that cocoon effortlessly. Did you get that? What is inside moves you to action. If you are so full of prosperity inside thoughts, imagination, that prosperity will move you to action. The shell cannot contain or hinder the plant and the worm or cocoon cannot hold back the butterfly. Why? Because it is what is inside that is the driving force. So it is with prosperity. Prosperity is prosperity. It cannot be changed. Prosperity will always prosper wherever it finds a welcome. When you have a prosperous mindset, your prosperous thoughts will burst through the shell into your actions and effortlessly push through every obstacle. Prosperity does not look at your finances and say, "Oh no, I don't know if I can help." It just eliminates whatever is not prospering you. It is on autopilot, eliminating bad choices, scarcity behavior, habits that cause financial loss. Whatever does not prosper you. Why? Because prosperity is prosperity. It cannot be changed. How does it do all this? Your thoughts and imagination have been transformed. What inside of you is prosperity. Remember the butterfly. It no longer thinks like a worm because the butterfly sees things differently. It has a different view of things. It doesn't see things from the ground anymore. It is far above that. It no longer looks at worm food and say, "Oh yeah, I want that." No, it loves nectar now. Your taste will be transformed. Your choices are transformed. Habits, words, relationships, everything is brand spanking new. When you are so full of prosperity, the cocoon will burst and you will emerge a brand new prosperous person. There are many people that work hard and try to produce prosperity on the outside first. That is the hard and arduous way, and it is rarely permanent. Can you imagine a peach trying to become a lemon? Impossible. Why? Because it's just not in it. Remember, I mentioned earlier, whatever you are full of inside will spill out. The peach is full of peach, and that is all it will ever be, no matter how hard it tries to become a lemon. Often people will try cool little financial tricks, tips and shortcuts to create prosperity. I'm sure that helps, but it is rarely permanent. Why? Because nothing has changed on the inside. Thoughts, mind, choices. Prosperity starts on the inside and bursts into every area of your life. It will move you to action on autopilot. How? Once prosperity settles into your thoughts, mind, and imagination, it will crush the thoughts that hinder prosperity. Like the butterfly, you will see things differently. All butterfly, no worm, and all prosperity, no scarcity. Now let me add one more simple illustration that will pull this section together and hopefully make it completely clear and ironclad in your mind. Imagine an old locomotive train. They were powered by steam. Yes, it was actually powered by steam. Coal was added and fired up, that heated up the boilers, and that created steam. The steam pushed the train forward automatically. The more coal, the more steam is created, the more propulsion to move it forward. So if you keep adding coal, the train would effortlessly move forward. Now think of the coal as thoughts, prosperous thoughts. The boiler is your mind. Your mind gets filled with steam. These prosperous thoughts create steam, prosperous steam, feelings, choices, actions. This prosperous steam creates propulsion and moves you forward without struggles, doubts, scarcity thinking / VT pitch. This prosperous steam thoughts moves you to action forward on your prosperity journey. Prosperous thoughts lead to prosperous actions, and that attracts prosperity. It is prosperity working in you and through you. In other words, prosperity is working its way into your entire life. Now imagine your mind being so full of prosperity steam that you feel like you are going to burst. That is exactly what happens to the plant. The soil can no longer contain it, so it bursts through the soil effortlessly because it is so full of life. Likewise, the worm is so full of butterfly, the cocoon can no longer contain it, so it effortlessly bursts out full of new life and new perspective. Everything is brand new because it sees things differently. That the way it is with prosperity. There will come a time when your mind is so full of prosperity that your thinking can no longer contain it, and prosperity will burst out into your finances, relationships, habits, and you will have a new perspective and see things differently. Everything will be brand new. Wow! Keep adding prosperous thoughts, and it will create prosperous steam, and you will move forward on your prosperous journey. My hope is that you see things differently, like the butterfly. It may be good to read this section a couple times. Now it's time to get to the part that I think you are really going to like. Step 4. Unleash prosperity and attract incredible abundance. This is where the floodgates of prosperity open wide and gush forth with amazing abundance. When it happens, you will know it. Why? Because you have great expectation. Your mind is full of prosperity steam. You are bubbling with prosperity and it is leaking out into every area of your life. Your life has newness. Everything is fresh. That does not mean everything is perfect, or that your debt has disappeared. What it does mean is that prosperity has been unleashed and is at work in your world life, and things are about to change. This is where you will experience surprises on a regular basis. Maybe unexpected money arrives, someone gives you a car, all of your debt paid, perhaps a prosperous idea that creates an income stream for you. Who knows? You don't want to try and figure it out. That is futile and rarely ends well. Simply expect prosperity to accelerate and accumulate in your life. The way it arrives does not really matter, does it? I have been surprised, even shocked at how prosperity comes my way. I remember we made the last payment on our car. It was a great relief. That day we were driving down the road and the car just blew up. It was our only car. I called a friend and he gave us a ride home. The next thing I know, he gave us an incredible truck that we have to this day. The best part, it was a gift, for which we are grateful. Prosperity burst forth into our life. I was talking to my brother and out of the blue he said his son was looking for a specific car. I said, that crazy, I have that car but it has a blown engine. He said his son had an engine for it. Needless to say, we gave it to them. They put the engine in it, and the next time I saw my nephew he was driving that car. Woohoo! Prosperity was spilling out all over the place. I do not try and figure out how prosperity will come. I simply let it come. We kept putting prosperity thoughts inside and it kept bringing in the rewards of abundance. My wife had a prosperous thought one day. She was full of prosperous steam, so she acted on it. It burst out. Before we knew it, income started flowing in. That led to another idea that created another income stream and another. It seemed like prosperity was all over the place in our life. It was like the green thumb of prosperity. Everything she touched exploded with prosperity. The cool part was that each month our debt would shrink, and I mean a rapid meltdown, until it completely disappeared. I tell the whole story in my next book. You will be on the edge of your seat and filled with inspiration when you read it. This is a step where goals are surpassed, old dreams are revived, and new dreams become your reality, and hope fills your day. Your mind will be filled with prosperous coal in the form of ideas, plans, strategies, dreams, visuals, and suddenly they will burst into your world life effortlessly. You do not have to psyche yourself up or hype it up. Prosperity steam will make it happen. All you have to do is let it happen. Or like my wife, when prosperity burst out of her and she started a great business that kept on giving. I call this unleashing prosperity. Scarcity-minded people find it difficult to unleash prosperity because they have very little prosperity thoughts. Therefore they run out of steam. They just can't get the train moving forward. So they try everything they can to get it going. All I can say, that is a very tough road to hoe, and it leads to discouragement and burnout. Then they wonder why things never work out. I know, because I been there. Life was difficult. But remember, whatever you are full of will spill out. As you fill up the cold and prosperous thoughts of your mind, you will fill up with prosperity steam. Now is the time to let the prosperity steam out before you burst. Unleash prosperity. Just let prosperity happen. A friend was applying the above 4 steps. They were happy, excited, and kept shoveling prosperity thoughts, and I mean they were full of prosperity steam. Now on the outside they could barely make ends meet, and a car that barely made it from place to place. One day the lights came on and they unleashed prosperity. Now they have a business that is thriving and the sky is the limit. Life is different for them now. Oh, and by the way, they don't worry about an old car that barely makes it anymore. How did they unleash prosperity? Well, they simply put feet to those prosperity thoughts. They took action with an unwavering confidence. Step 5. Sharing your prosperity knocks the hinges off the doors of prosperity. Talk about multiplying or compounding prosperity. This is the fastest way known to those that know the secrets of prosperity. I have seen people that learn this simple little secret of prosperity and put it in place in their life. Suddenly and without warning, their prosperity went to a new level. Sharing prosperity will become your favorite part of your prosperity journey. You have probably heard the saying, "It's better to give than receive." Well, I actually like to give and receive, but there is a feeling when we share our prosperity with others that is beyond words. Think of prosperity as a seed. The more you plant, the more you have. That's the way it is with prosperity. Prosperity always returns multiplied to you. I heard someone say, "You can count the seeds in an apple, but you cannot count the apples in a seed." That is a pretty profound description of the power of a simple seed. Plant it and you will have apples forever. It just keeps on giving. That's the way it is with prosperity. The more you share it, plant seed, the more you will have little prosperity machines all over the place that just keep on multiplying prosperity to you. A few years ago we helped a young lady in a desperate situation. She was pregnant and homeless. When I found out, we did what most people would do. We simply invited her to live with us. At that time we barely had enough, but we shared what we had, and loved every minute of it. She lived with us for a while, then got on her feet and started her life. She is like a daughter to us. Fast forward 20 years. She has climbed the corporate ladder and excelled in her field. When we travel, she and her husband are so thankful for the time we had together that they book our room and pay for it. Sharing is like planting seeds. It just keeps on giving. Oh, I almost forgot. Last year her son showed up at our house and he wanted to know if we needed our yard mowed. I said sure. He mowed our yard every couple weeks and he refused to take any money. You see, he learned this secret of prosperity. When you give, it is multiplied back into your life. Do I even need to mention my birthday, my wife and daughter birthday? Christmas, he always blesses us with gifts and makes our day. We shared and it is multiplied back. The best part is the gifts are nice, but just knowing she and her family are doing well is an exhilarating reward that is exceedingly more than we could ever receive. Note to her: hey Kay, if you ever read this book, we want you to know we love you and we are very proud of you. Oh, by the way, even though we did not have much, we shared it, planted the seed. In my next book I tell the story of how that led to us buying a dream house with no money in our bank account. I hope you get a chance to read it, because it will inspire you to start planting seed right now, and expect prosperity to smile on you. Here is something to consider when you embrace this secret. Think of it like this: if you have one apple, you simply have one apple. Now imagine eating the apple and planting those seeds. Now you have several trees and hundreds of apples each year. Prosperity is all over the place when you share. You open your life to multiple prosperity machines that prosper you even as you sleep. Some people see an apple, others see an apple tree. Those that know this prosperity secret see orchards of non-stop prosperity. Remember, you can count the seeds in an apple, but you cannot count the apples in a seed. You can eat some, give some to other people, and even sell some for a profit. Your prosperity is now on steroids. Conclusion: I have given you 5 simple steps to prosperity. A simple way to open your life and to embrace prosperity. These are secrets that I have learned through experience, not by theory. They have been fleshed out in real life. These secrets have been used by people throughout the ages, for millennials. They work for anyone, anywhere, regardless of your financial situation. Here are the 5 steps. Step 1. Prosperity begins on the inside. Step 2. Prosperity is all about receiving and being transformed. Step 3. Prosperity moves you to action effortlessly. Step 4. Unleash prosperity and attract incredible abundance. Step 5. Sharing prosperity knocks the hinges off the doors of prosperity. Put one of these secrets in place in your life and prosperity begins. Put another secret in place and prosperity accelerates. Put them all into place and prosperity will flood your life with abundance of every kind. You have taken the first step, and that is, you are seeking how to create prosperity. Now you have a formula to get started. It is just a matter of putting the 5 steps into place in your life. I think you will be amazed at how fast your life can be transformed. You will begin to think differently, feel differently, and see things differently. Life will be brand new. Remember, it all starts with a cocoon. Something magical happens inside when that process is complete. You will be so full of prosperity butterfly that you will be full of life, and you will never be the same again. There will be times when you may get off track. Not a problem. Just get back on track and prosperity will welcome you as if it were the first time. There were times when I got off track. I learned that you can simply start again and prosperity begins at that moment. It really is amazing when you think about it. I have told about our story in my next book. If you are interested, I think you will find it quite inspiring. So if you get off track, simply get back on track and you will experience the blessings of prosperity as if it were brand new. Let me give you some good news. Prosperity has already begun inside you. How do I know? Because I remember when I was seeking to know how to create prosperity. Then I stumbled on one of the secrets of prosperity and it changed everything, and it all happened in less than 60 seconds. Yes, you read that right. In less than a minute my life changed forever. I was so full of butterfly, that I could never be changed back. What was that one secret that transformed everything in my life? It was the first step in this process. Step 1. Prosperity begins on the inside. You see, up until that time I thought you had to have money to make money. That simply is not true. It finally hit me like a ton of bricks. Prosperity happens on the inside. It begins without any money at all. That means it is available to everyone, everywhere. But it calls for butterfly thinking, not worm thinking. It comes to those that have been transformed inside. When I really got that message, everything changed for me inside. Our debt was still piled high, but I no longer looked at it in the same way. It was and long that the debt was paid and we were enjoying prosperity and all of its blessings. I am quite sure the transformation has begun in you too. Now it is just a matter of letting it happen. This is the first Kindle book in my prosperity series. My hopes are that you not only enjoyed this book but that you will continue your prosperity journey with us through the entire series. Be sure to let us know what you think by leaving us a review. Thanks, and many blessings to you. Anthony.